nothing.
Okay.
But the day that we took Mike to Dubin to get the plane to go to Cape Bay, Ann went with him. That was the best night's sleep Bobby and I had in ages because we knew where the hell he was.
So, let's see if we're ready to go. Yeah. So, some things. Let's talk about Mike. I know he worked down at Monroe's for the longest time when he was young.
Yeah, when he started to work down there when he was 12 years old.
Yeah, and he also used to get up in the mornings before school and go run crab pots.
Yeah.
I remember because he parked his skiff up here in the cut up there at the Sea Level Inn. Somebody stole his motor one time. Remember that?
Exactly right.
Remember that?
In fact, he told us one day, I don't know whether he had ever skipped school or not. He had never mentioned it, but he told us one day, he said, I'm not going to school. He said, Monroe's got to have help. I don't know how many fish he had, and he said, he needs help. I'm going to the fishing.
I remember that.
Work. Yeah.
I remember that. Mike's always worked hard his whole life.
Yeah.
And now I also remember, I'm trying to think of the names. It was Mike, Tadpole. I don't remember who the rest of the crowd was.
What do they do?
Well, they used to have, they were in a Boy Scout troop with a fella in on the back road there behind Harry Jr.'s house.
Yeah, it was blind. Mr. Helen, Mr. C.J. Helen.
I didn't remember his name.
Yes,
He was blind and could do some of the prettiest work with a table saw and a jigsaw you have ever seen in your life.
Yeah. Now there was Fred Cox used to live back there too.
And Fred Cox lived back
Yeah.
there.
Now, but wasn't there another?
Yeah.
I want to say Isaac, but
Alton Taylor lived back there.
No, that was another one.
I'm thinking the scout person. I'm thinking about.
Mr. Helen was a scout person.
Well, I'm thinking somebody else then because, well, maybe I'm not. I don't know.
In fact,
Maybe
Mr. Helen was the scoutmaster, and they drafted Leslie Gordon and me to be his assistants.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
But I remember, yeah, because I remember Mike in his Boy Scout uniform.
Yep.
And
Do you remember the man's name that did the Queen's Call?
John McCormick.
that's what I'm thinking of.
John McCormick.
I'm thinking
In
McCormick.
fact, he made the pistol grips that's on that black Colt revolver that you got.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I didn't. The McCormick is the name I was thinking of. I didn't. I thought he was the scout person, but
John
maybe not.
McCormick.
Because he lived right back there too, right?
Yeah.
Right in that same.
John retired a commander, I think, Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Lieutenant commander
Yeah.
or something.
So let's see. So Mike was, we're 8 years apart. So he was, by the time I'm old enough to really do anything, he's out the door. But I remember, him and the crowd would, especially they're driving at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think what Mike had.
Well, Mike got that white Dodge Charger.
Well, yeah, he did, but maybe he wasn't driving yet. But some of them were because they would all come over there in that field by our house, and they'd sit around and listen to music and God knows what else, and shoot basketball and stuff. And then we moved over here. Yeah, Mike had he had the Charger, the white Charger. No, that was after the Vet, though, wasn't it?
No,
The
that
Charger
was
was
first. Because he had that Corvette and he'd been to see Brenda, and wrecked it over in Stacy, and he went to Coast Guard before he ever got it fixed.
No, you skipped a whole section there.
What?
First off, he had the Charger.
Yep.
And I don't remember what happened to that. I don't know if he traded or sold it. And at some point, let's see. Then he bought the Corvette. He went with
George Murray Thomas down to
Darlington to a car auction
Yep.
and got it. Fine looking mobile.
Yeah.
Fine. I remember he used to take me to school in the mornings. I could just barely see over the side of the thing. I was like 4th or 5th grade.
Where had he gone? Somewhere or another and left it here, and you and I drove it to town or something. But you could run over a matchstick and feel it.
Yeah, she was down. So it was a 68 or 69, 70
It was
Stingray.
a pretty blade car.
Yeah, it was. Well, what happened was, I think this was the one a time when he and Brenda had broke up.
Yeah.
And he was driving down into Harker's Island, and some fool from up off of Pine Knoll Shores or something, some crowd of hooligans, had parked a car in the road and turned the lights off. And he was riding behind a lady, and then she saw it and swerved, and he hit him. And then they commenced a fighting. I don't know if you remember that, because he had to go to court and swear out charges. And he took it to Toby O'Neill.
Yep. No, he took it to somebody else. It won't Toby.
Oh, not Toby.
That's right. And the old man signed the blaming because the insurance check was made out to me and him.
And he signed your
And
name.
he signed my name to it. And I went to Toby. I called Dick Lewis. I said, Dick, what in the world's it? Scoop on Mike's Corvette. He said, well, it's supposed to be fixed. You've already signed the check. I said, but Dad, what if I've signed the check? And that's when he found out.
Yeah, the guy had defrauded you.
Yeah.
And then he had it for a full year. And didn't he die during that process? I mean, the fella died.
Yeah, the mechanic died or whatever.
Yeah, and
I don't know whatever happened to it.
Carl, what's his name was Cade.
No, I don't remember what his name was. I know where the shop was.
Yeah.
It was over there close back in there behind the Sunshine Laundry, back in there somewhere.
yeah, down 24.
Yep. No, back where the new where the old Sunshine, down off Bridges.
Oh.
Right down in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I remember I went there with Mike one time to check on it, and I saw it. And it was all beat up still, and so 1 year, almost to the day, he got it back, and then a couple weeks later is when he was coming back from Brenda's, and
Overhead Station.
fell asleep.
Went to sleep.
Yep. And I didn't believe it. So what was happening that night was Mike and I shared a room still because Ann still lived. Let me think about that. Well, all I know is
Married in 74.
That's right, because Ann was going to the community college when we bought that 72 the Bel Air Chevrolet or whatever kind we had or whatever.
well, what I remember was because I'm pretty sure that Mike and I were sharing a room because
You did.
at that time the big room would end up being my room.
Yeah.
We had twin beds because somebody was spending the night with me, and Mike came home early and got in bed with me and to sleep, and he woke me up and he said I wrecked my Corvette. I said I don't believe you. No, he didn't. And he said, well, my hair is wet, and that's how I knew he had wrecked it. And if you remember, he turned it over in there and had to kick the windshield out to get out of it.
Well, I remember when you were at West Point.
I remember
Oh, we'll come. We're not got there yet. We got a lot more to go through before then. Because you guys are going to find out some stuff too.
I found out a lot last night.
Yeah.
You got to tell Mama.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know half of it. Oh my God. Some of that won't ever make it here. Before we go there, so then Mike had the vet, and then on
He went to Coast Guard.
No, he had a '76 Grand Prix, a blue one.
I don't remember that.
Yep, he did because he's the one who taught me how to turn the breather over. Turn the breather over and it give it some more air. He had a 70. When did he go into Coast Guard?
Oh, God.
He was
76. Wait a minute. Yeah. Wait a minute.
He was born in '56.
He went to Coast Guard in 78.
Yeah, because he worked a few years.
Wait.
No, I think
It hadn't been long before he and Brenda got married.
Yeah, but he he and Brenda got married within a couple of months after he went to Coast Guard. Right after he got a
boot camp
because he went to Elizabeth City.
I remember.
And he didn't stay in Elizabeth City any time before he got to Cape Lookout.
He was 19, wasn't he, when he went into Coast Guard?
Yeah, he was pushing 20.
Yeah, he was born in
Because he
'54.
went in that's right, he went in May and he would have been 20 in June.
Yeah, so he was born in '54, '55, so he went in 70.
So he went in 76.
Yeah, '76.
And that's right, because he retired in June of 2006.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know he had either '74 or '76 blue metallic Grand Prix with a white pinstripe.
I don't remember
White
that.
top, I remember it.
Well, what did he do with it? Sell it with?
I don't know. I think that's what he had when he went to Coast Guard. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
You know what? Yes, you do. Because when we went to get him, I didn't go with you when you took him, but after he was done with boot camp, we drove
You in school in the morning. We carried him up to
Yeah,
Newman,
but
yeah.
when the day he came back, I went with you because one of y'all drove his car.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure of this. Drove the Grand Prix there so he'd have his car, or maybe Brenda drove it. But I remember him coming
Oh,
in there.
let me tell you. I was asking Lee last night, had he heard anything from Sean Willis? He said he hadn't heard anything from Sean in a long time. But Sean likes big women. His wife is bigger than his mama used to be. You remember when his mama was that big around?
Yeah,
She's dead.
yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah,
It's kinda
she
hard-
died.
Yeah,
She was fairly young when she died.
yeah, I remember. Well, okay, let's go. So there was Mike had the Grand Prix, and then now we glossed over some stuff on Mike. So what kind of I'm going to tell you what trouble I remember Mike got in, then you guys fill in. I remember.
It was Tommy Lupton when Mike was home on boot leave, and somebody said something, and Mike said the first thing he knew was a fist coming up the side of his head. Tommy done knocked him in the hell out of it.
Well, that's a good lead in because one of the things I remember Mike getting in trouble for was y'all got called out to East Carter High School. We were down to the sheriff's
Oh, yeah.
where Mike and Tommy Lupton were sitting in the parking lot drinking beer. And
I don't remember that.
No, and Tommy Lupton swore he was asleep, passed out. Yeah, and I think Mike was underage. I think the age was 18 then. He was
Tore his
underage.
damn shirt off. I
Yeah,
remember that.
and now maybe you guys don't know about this one. I don't know the full detail. I just know the general details. When Mike spun her, I think he was coming out of a road here, floored it up there by the end, lost control, spun around and put her in that canal up there.
I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure that's what. Yeah. Yeah. Now, let's see. So, what other trouble did Mike get in?
Well,
The only thing, wait, I
really?
can remember, the idiot of you three children had to go to court for. It was about, well, they hadn't had a drama project. They were in Riley and a
Mike had shoplifted a.
A CD or cassette. I remember that.
Yeah.
I
That's
can.
the only time
Yeah.
I know him.
And I called George Anderson. George was solicitor or the district attorney in Apex Court when I was on the highway patrol. I called George. I said, George, how about we represent? At that time, George was the Eastern District federal solicitor. He said, I'll take care of it. So,
Yeah, I remember that. I can see Mike's face this day because I was with y'all.
yeah.
We had just.
We're coming from Gangan Baptist.
Yep, and we stopped at Crabtree, and this is the old Crabtree.
No, the Northgate Shopping Center.
Was it?
Old Crabtree? No, it was.
Well, I wouldn't know the
No,
difference.
it was in J.C. Penney.
Well, we were just coming out of the front of the place when the security guy walked up with him, and Mike's face, I'll remember to this day. I knew he'd never do anything like that again,
And
because,
he hadn't.
yeah, he's a good guy.
In fact, I wouldn't even go to Raleigh with him and drove him to Raleigh.
Wow.
But
And Mike was he that good at keeping you guys unaware of his what trouble he got in?
what the hell? I remember when Mike got out of boot camp, he went to Elizabeth City.
Right.
Guy Willis from Harper's Island was Mike's chief up there then. And he and Mike became good friends because he knew Mike was from Diane. He and Mike knew Grady, and Grady knew Guy and everything. It's all different. So Mike was telling Guy, he said, I want to go to Cape Lookout. And Guy told him, said, so do I. And said, now just as soon as I get over to Cape Lookout, I will get you there. Mike said, all right. But some way or another, Mike was standing guard at the main gate going into the Coast Guard base up at Elizabeth City. And I've forgotten who it was. He was from Betty, a retired master chief or warrant officer or something other came through there one morning. And he was talking to Mike and he said, I've stood watch out here many a damn night, and if you look down there under that building, you'll find a many a beer can that I threw under there when I'm standing watch. But anyway, Mike went by the office one morning. He said, "Hell, I'm just gonna sign the dream sheet." They lived in a trailer up at Elizabeth City.
We went there one time. I remember.
He and brother. So he went by there and he just went down that Cape Lookout station and we went on home. Well, he was there. He had pulled it 4 to 8 watch and a 12 to 8 or however the Coast Guard did it like that. He dawned on home, gone to bed. Hadn't been in bed for just a little while and heard some frabbing at the door, and it was Guy. Guy said, "Who do you know?" I said, "Well, what do you mean who I know? I don't know anybody." He said, "You know somebody." He said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, You got orders for Cape Lookout." That was the same damn morning, but it felt just like that. What the hell you say? I said, "Yes, you are. You're going to Cape Lookout." So Mike went over there, and I've forgotten who was the chief in, but Bobby Hill came in later. But Bobby Hill from both of them, came in. But anyway, what had happened? They had transferred a nigger over at Cape Lookout. And he had gotten word that somebody was going to kill his ass or drown him, one or the other, if he didn't get the hell away from there. So he put in to get the hell away from Cape Lookout right damn quick, and Mike was the first name on the list that ordered to go to Cape Lookout. So he got it right then.
Man. So let's see. So yeah, Mike was in Elizabeth City, then Cape Lookout, and they lived in a trailer there, a couple doors down from
Right down from Hazel and
yep.
Joe.
Yep. And then no, I don't remember. Joe. I know Joe died carrying an antenna across the yard.
That's right, got electrocuted that.
Yeah.
Mike was on the.
Paula was about 6 months old.
Yep. Mike was on the
Kennebec.
Bowie tender, and they were out there in the mouth of East River, and they brought him into Kennebec, was either Rodney Coons at South River, one or the other, and somebody went there and picked him up.
Yeah. Do you guys remember going over to Cape Lookout when it was still active, and they had like the family day?
I didn't ever go with out of that.
Are you sure?
I don't think so.
You used to go. I don't know anything about a family.
No. It was a Coast Guard event.
I don't ever remember going over there, did I?
I do. Well, I believe you. I mean, I wouldn't have gone myself. I was too young because I couldn't drive then.
No.
And because we went there down to the old Coast Guard dock.
Yeah.
And family went, and we I'm trying to think. Jesse somebody married Piner. Miss Ellen Piner was the music teacher at East Connery, and one of her daughters, not the one that married my age, but Kim maybe.
She's dead. She's
Ellen,
dead. She died of cancer, didn't she?
Yeah. But we all went over there, got in the boat, their shuttle boat, and went over there, and they had cookout, played volleyball. You don't remember that?
I don't.
No. Yeah, that's the only time I remember going over there. Now, talking about the Coast Guard stuff, I also remember, and we're kind of wrapping stuff around, but when we lived over there, we had a boat with what we called the bathtub in the front. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
A V-hull.
That little Dixie. That you bought it from Fred Cox.
Well, I remember getting the trailer. I remember going up there to get the trailer with y'all,
Yeah.
but I don't remember the boat. But yeah, we had that little thing because you said because it was hollowed out up front.
Yeah.
We said that was our bathtub because it had a little swinging door
Yeah.
you could close off, and that's what we used to go out in. And we used to launch down here at the little dock.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Talking about that little dock, do you remember Dr. Best's wedding?
No.
Oh my God.
Where were you then? How old were you how old was he, Mama, when Dr. Best got married?
I don't know.
They-
Mike was about 12.
But Mike was about 12, 13, so you were just a little fella. Anyway, the wedding was at the church at Portsmouth. I guess it was about a month before Monroe Taylor died. He himself was talking down at the fish house one day. And Monroe said, "I bet you could go in those sand dunes around Portsmouth and still find bottles of champagne that were buried there after that." Anyway, that's when we had that old green Ford pickup over on the beach.
Eliza.
Eliza. And hell, Mike was young.
Well,
Yeah. And I'd always told him, oh hell, he was driving up and down the beach anyway he wanted to go. And I told him, I said, now, if you see a board in front of you, you miss it, because it might have a nail in it. Well, hell, coming on back from that wedding, in fact, there was somebody singing, and I told Bobby, I guess it was loud enough for everybody in the church. I said, it sounds like a sow giving birth to little pigs. But anyway, coming on back up the beach up at Don's, I was standing on the running board. And I didn't see the damn board, but Mike saw it. He cut him to the right just as hard as he could. Well, hell, when Mike cut him to the left, I went straight ahead. I hit on my head and my shoulder. Mike made a swing all the way around, came back around, I hopped back on the running board. But Jeff Smith stayed hung on the hood of his pickup over there for a couple of 3 days, so damn drunk he couldn't get off, just stay there. He just turned over every once in a while and stayed like that on the hood of his truck. Oh Lord. But the funniest thing,
tell about not to kill them.
that night, that's when we were still over at the old house.
Yeah.
So, hell, Mom and I'd gone to bed. And some way or another, I happened to look up and there was an apparition down at the foot of the bed. Didn't know whether it was a ghost or what. It was Patty. But we didn't no more think of locking doors back then, anything in the world. Go and come any way you wanted. Said, you have got to go find John. I said, what the hell you mean I got to go find John? He and, who was it?
Whitey?
Who?
Not
Whitey?
Whitey Easley.
Anyway, Dr. Best's stepson, and Dr. Kendall and Dr. Best's stepson, and I've forgotten who else, had gone out in a damn boat about 11 or 12 o'clock. Hell, that must have been 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when Patty came over and got me. Got to go find them. I had no more idea where they were in any damn thing in the world. Well, Mike
Oh, Lord.
had tied his skiff off down at the old dock. And he had a tide, boy, had bridles on it and every damn thing. But I forgotten whether it was a spring line he had on it, or maybe he had that line tied to that trawl post or whatever it was. But anyway, one of them I didn't see. I got the lines off, got that engine started, I was standing behind the thought, you know, and I opened the throttle and put it in gear, and she jumped, and when she did, boy, she got both damn shins from my knees slapped down to the top of my damn feet, boy, just peeled damn skin. Blood flying everywhere. Finally got the damn lines off. Went on out the bay, and they were out down there at the head of the damn bay, giving out a gas. All right, hold me a line. And I forgotten who the hell it was. Dr. Kendall said, no, we're not going in, we're gonna wait till sun up. I said, but damn if you gonna wait till sun up, you gonna put your damn ass to that damn dock right down there, and I'm gonna tow your ass in there. So I put a line on and brought him home.
What did he say?
No hell, he won't coming home. I know he was gonna stay out there.
Wow. Well, okay, let me keep going. Let's see. So, Mike, we're talking about boats. Now, that's the boat I remember y'all having for the longest time. And we used to go over to the banks.
Yeah.
And we go in there.
Oh, that old Coast Guard station.
That's right. That's what I was getting at. We used to go over to the old Coast Guard station.
Yeah.
I remember you guys had pilings. You climb up the ladder there and walk down the thing. And that burnt later in life.
Yeah, and remember, it was a long way from the sound to the ocean. You had to look for a patch of grass if you were barefooted, because that sand was hotter than blue blazes. You'd have to run and dodge like that to get your... Somebody went over and burned that old station. It won't bother them a darn soul.
No. And then we used to go over there to the camps. Now, what I remember was Dr. Kendall's camp was a little further down.
Yep.
And I don't think he had a landing at his place. But the landing over there were Clyde and Jack Rose.
Yeah.
And somebody else had a camp right on that little road.
Yeah.
And Clyde's camp was the one closest to the road.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple more. And Harry Michael and them camps were even further down than Dr. Kendall's.
Yeah, that was a big camp, Harry Michael did.
Well, they still have.
Yep.
Yeah. And we used to go over there and stay,
Yep.
you know, in the summers and whatnot. And Dr. Kendall had that houseboat.
Yep.
Remember? So we'd all.
Monroe and all of them had.
Oh,
But
God.
you
Yeah.
were with us the night that we were coming back up the beach to the house. We were drunk over that.
Oh, God.
Monroe. Who else was in there?
When on Monroe, we're talking Monk, right?
Yeah, Mark, Ramona, Johnny and Dora Jean went, Philip and Emma Lou. I've forgotten who else was all in it. Got on up the beach somewhere. Monroe was driving that beach buggy belonging to him and Eugene, and Monroe's scared of Eugene's. Anyway, came over that damn dune, and right in the middle of a damn pond we went. Hell, the water was up to the damn,
Yeah, we covered up the river.
up to the top of the damn door jambs, you know. Like, I crawled out on the hood, sitting there, and Billy Smith and shit, who was it? What's the Smith boy and the man? The with it girl. What's her name? Shit.
Don't know.
Married one of the twins.
Huh? He married one of the twins.
Yeah, I remember.
But anyway, he and Billy and two or three others drove up about that time, and I was sitting there on the hood singing, "Shall We Gather?" Said Billy down there died laughing.
Oh, Lord.
Oh shit! Hell yeah, the water was running all through the damn, all through the damn car. Lord have mercy.
Wow, there's a lot
We
of good.
enjoy it.
And then, let's see, now, at one point, I mean, I remember going back and forth. See, we went fishing, the three of us,
Yep.
and Mom caught a big one right in the back, me. You remember that? When you went to throw your thing, you hooked me with your line. You don't remember that? Right in the back of the neck? Well, I remember it. And I had that old cane pole. I mean, a cane. I don't know if I've ever fished with a rod and reel in my whole life. So I haven't fished in forever. Let's see, another time we stayed at Dr. Kendall's camp. No, didn't he have a place he pulled the houseboat up?
Yeah, with a little old cut in there, you could put it up.
But not, we're talking about the landing there at Clyde's place?
No, Doctor.
He had his own.
Dr. Kendall's camp.
Yeah.
You could put it right
And I
in
think we were staying there.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know if you guys were there, but Mike and Tadpole you guys were out something, and Mike and Tadpole had taken one of the vehicles, Dr. Kendall's vehicle, and gone joyriding and wrecked it. And all I remember is Dr. Kendall dressing them up and down for stealing that damn car. And another time, I remember we actually went and stayed in a tent. Now, maybe
Yeah. All right, now remember the night, you would have been too blame little for that. The night that Mike graduated from the 8th grade, Mike and Roy Abbott and I took the tent across. And we went over and spent the weekend over on the bike. And that's when Mike found that embalming fluid bottle with the rubber stopper, steel stop. And I remember I carried it to Bell Munden fuel hole and got them to check it. And
What happened?
they were still buying embalming fluid from that same outfit. And they carried it. The salesman came in and carried it back to their home office. And hell, I reckon it was gone for 6-8 months before we ever got it. And they didn't remember when the last time they had put any embalming fluid in one of those bottles. But the only thing they could figure out was it had been on with some ship, another somewhere, another, and somebody had died and they had embalmed them on board that ship and thrown the bottle of war. And I gave Mike that bottle back here after the hurricane and told him to carry it on home with him.
Really? Let's just think. So I remember what I remember was we went there and stayed over there a weekend or a week. I just remember being on the beach, in a tent, and because that's one of the few times I've done that. Now let's talk about other things that we found over there.
Remember that drone? I mean that.
Yep. Had the torpedo had a gyroscope in it.
Yeah.
We had that gyroscope for the longest time out in the utility room. If you remember at the old house here, there by the front yard, we had those ship timbers.
Yeah.
With the steel spikes to them.
Yeah. Bronze spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had the
dead eye.
This dead eye
Yeah.
laying up there by that beacon.
Yeah.
Now there was something else that you found that we used to scare the shit out of Mama with one night.
That tombstone.
Yeah.
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 But remember,
away.
well, I won't mind, and I gave it to that Smith boy because he was a curator of every darn thing over there with it, Cedar Island and graveyards and shit. But do you remember that piece of timber that Dr. Kendall had when you went in his house, that the shin bone was in that piece of timber and they had the shackle? Oh,
No.
yeah.
Mountain Peak.
Came off a slave ship.
Really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And had a shin bone in the timber.
Shin bone in the timber and the shackle was still down around both of them.
I don't remember that. Wow.
When you went in Dr. Kendall's house down there, yeah.
I don't remember that. Wow. I remember, we'd be over there, or maybe after a big blow, we'd go over there and walk the beach.
Yeah.
And,
That's
Now-
when you could find the shells and everything.
yeah. Now, Harry Michael swears that he saw that three-masted schooner. You know about that?
No, I haven't.
I'll have to get, next time we come down, we'll do this again with them. But, there's supposedly, somewhere down there, there's a full three-masted schooner buried there in the surf.
Well, I'm in there.
And he swears that one time when he was young, after a storm, he went out and you could see the whole thing. I think he said he walked on the deck. And the next time he went back, it was covered up. And it's illegal to dig for that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to, that's interesting. Let's see what else. So we had that headstone. You remember who the headstone was?
He was an English,
James English.
James English, a reflecto man.
As you pass by,
As you pass by for here.
as you are now, so once was I.
That's right.
As I am now, so will you be. So prepare for death and follow me.
And it was back in the 1700s, wasn't it?
I don't remember the
Early-
dates.
yeah.
1800s.
The man was 44 years old.
Yeah, and one of the dates was 1814 is what I remember.
But he was old for his.
Yeah, for that
in
time.
time frame.
Now, where did y'all find that?
He
Me and
found
Uncle Murray, old man, Back Bay, and it was, and I'd been watching it for a long time, and all the erosion and shit was going away, and he and I went in the state boat, and hell, it was as far as me to the corner of the room over there, out in the water then, but you could still see it. I said, "Come on, help me get it. I'm gonna put this thing in the boat and carry it home."
Wow.
But I've forgotten who was it. Somebody from Cedar Island told me there were, my Lord, there were several graveyards over on Hog Island at one time. Because that's where all the folks lived.
Mm-hmm.
They lived there before they ever came to Cedar Island.
Wow. Let's see now. Again, I might be wrong about this, but I also remember one time, because I don't remember Beppy and Gangan coming down here a lot.
Yeah.
In my age. I remember them going somewhere and we stayed in a pool. We stayed at a motel where a pool was and they were there. Might have been down Manio or somewhere. But I do remember they came down one time and you got Gangan and Beppy to go out in the boat one time.
Yeah.
And after the trip, Beppy swore she'd never get another one. I don't remember all the details on that, but I just do remember that.
Do you remember the afternoon when we went over there with Uncle Murray and Dad? We'll go carry them down in the pickup with him.
Oh, God, yeah.
Did you tell him about that?
No, you tell it.
God, oh, I was over there. Dad in. Uncle Mary and Mom. Well, we went over there, we were going. Well, hell, we had to
Hold on.
pick up.
Hush!
We had to pick up parked up there, where we kept it, you know. So while I was getting the pickup,
Rain.
while I was getting the boat ready to go, but Bobby would have had to get the pickup, drive on down. Well, hell, it didn't have no more brakes on it than jiggle. The only thing she was heading toward the water, those things she could see was one of those pilings. So sure did one of those pilings stop it.
Yeah, I remember old
Well,
Eliza.
I saved it.
Yeah,
Old Eliza had flathead V8.
that was a good pickup.
Yeah, I'll pull anything on the beach.
Yeah.
I had a broom sticking up out of one of the things. I remember that truck. I mean, I can picture that, and I remember many times we're over there and getting up and going up there and climbing over the tailgate to get a ham sandwich and a Coke
Yeah.
out of the cooler. Wow. Now, one time, this is when we weren't along, but Duke and Clyde and his crowd were going over there and hit a wave and capsized. You remember that?
I don't
And,
remember that.
Yeah, I think Duke was like in the 4th grade, and they were going to hit something, and she turned up and capsized their boat.
Clyde's in bad shape, dude.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
What's got him?
Well, his back, he usually had
Yeah,
that bad
yeah.
back anyway, and he said his back is just like the letter S at that first curve, and then it straightens out.
Yeah.
And it's not any surgery they can do for it or any blame thing.
Well, he's always been hunched a
Yeah,
bit.
and they thought that he had. They found what they thought was a spot. Well, you know, he don't have but one kidney functioning anyway, and they thought they had found a spot on it, and found out further examination chock full of cyst.
Too bad, he's a good fellow. Now, I remember Clyde used to work at the lab up here with Danny Sparks as a technician, and then he went to Carteret Tech and took small engine repair.
Yeah,
I remember that. 'Cause
he and Jack Rose.
Yep, fix some boats.
And then you went to Newman as lab technician with some kind of outside clinic.
Yeah, I didn't remember any of that. Let's see. Oh, you know whose name I was thinking? Johnny Freeman.
Yeah.
That's the fellow who used to say, "I dare you, you won't jump off there," and I'd get up there and dive off that damn
I
roof.
mean, he's dead.
Johnny
Yeah.
Freeman been dead for years. I remember one afternoon I was out there in the yard Saturday or Sunday afternoon out there at the edge of the road. That's when we had that 98 Oldsmobile I was watching.
All right, Jigger.
Get back in yonder. And Alfred and Johnny Noy
Jeez.
came by. They said, "Carl, would you like a beer?" I said, "Yeah, give me a beer." They had to get out and get the cooler. We went back out. It was Alfred went out and got me a beer. Well, hell, I got it about half drunk and had to come back again. "Carl, you want a beer?" "Yep, get me one." We went back in, unlocked, got the tailgate down, got me what I had. Finally, they wised up enough to get the cool out and put it in the cab of the truck. I must have had 8 or 10 beers.
Just riding around.
He wouldn't even ask me, just come by and have me a beer and go right on down the road.
That's funny. Yeah.
Oh,
Michael said, he said, "You'll never guess who stopped by the boat place to see him one day last week."
Alfred.
Alfred stopped by there. He said,
Little Al.
came in there and said, you do, Mike?" Mike said he thought he recognized him, but he wasn't sure. He said, yeah, who are you?" He said, "FBI.
That's funny. Yeah, he's a character.
But he'd give you the shirt off his back right now.
You were talking about Ruth and
R. Jr.?
yeah.
Yeah, they got killed right there. Right there in that
Curve.
But
Curve beside Oyster Creek, you know.
when they got killed, I could still see them. Bruce always wore high heels. I could still see him. Was brought them on in. Of course, they was not dead. But we had to transport them to Moorhead. And at the time, Tony Gale,
Do you remember that pink ambulance had over there?
okay, that's all we had. So, called Tony. He came down. And they had got right there in Stacy, where that
Big curve is.
Stacy is.
Yeah.
And man almighty, there was, what's his name, Rocky?
Stanley. And what was the
Stanley.
girl's
Morris.
name?
I love him.
Lee, whatever happened to Ray Rowland?
I'll tell you about that in a
All
minute.
right.
And when they threatened Tony's life,
Why?
they threatened his life.
Because those boys were mean there, they were more mean as hell.
That was his dad's thing.
Well-
But now that girl was pretty. What was her
Who are you
name?
talking about?
Morris. You remember Rocky and Stanley Morris and
Yeah.
the girl?
I don't remember the girl.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh God, what, she had red hair.
A
boy.
beautiful girl.
I'll tell you, do you remember this about those folks? They came to the old house one time and
Yeah.
they had those two golden retrievers.
Yeah. They come out
Yeah.
a couple of times a year.
Yeah, and they would, they'd say, here, now take something and let them smell it and go hide it anywhere in the house.
Yeah.
And those dogs would go find it.
Yeah.
And do you remember the day they got killed that they couldn't get to them because those dogs wouldn't let
Yeah.
anybody in the car? They were licking the blood off of them. And because of them, they cut the trees down
Yeah.
on Stacy Stretch.
They did.
Yep. And, yeah, I remember that.
But I remember when Martin Luther King got killed. The next day, you know, man, they'd shut down every ABC bookstore, beer joint, wine. You couldn't find a drop of alcohol nowhere. We lived over at an old house. I was off that day. Next day, I had to think of something on. Anyway, somebody knocked at the door, back door. Went there, it was R. Jr. and Tommy Morris. I don't know where they had been, but they had a couple of cases of their beer.
Oh, let me get back real quick.